Gentle beings, one and all, it is time for another session of Clear Skies Perseverance.
Tis.
Welcome, welcome. I am your game master, Aliza Pearl, and with me are the most fantabulous shipyard workers in all of the solar system and the quadrants. But before we get to those fabulous beings, I have some things I'd like to share with you. First of all, big congrats to two of our homies who worked on Star Trek Picard. Todd Stashwick, excuse me, Captain Shaw, original character in Picard season 3. Excuse me, come on, like, amazing work. We're very proud of you. Todd Stashwick, if y'all don't know, is also a TTRPG and Dungeons and Dragons player, and he's part of our community of live play streamers. So we're very proud of you, and we're very happy for you, and we're excited to see what happens to Captain Shaw and his blue steaks that he eats. And another person whose work has appeared in Picard season 3 is our good old pal Thomas Marrone of Star Trek Online. I'm going to read from an Instagram post that Thomas wrote, which was that a few new starships from Star Trek Online appear in the first episode of Star Trek Picard season 3. There's the Enterprise F, which has already shown up in a few trailers, and joining it is the Pathfinder class USS Voyager, NCC 74656B, and the TOS era USS Pioneer. The Pioneer was designed by Hector Ortiz, and Thomas modeled it for Star Trek Online's TOS era expansion. So that's very dope, getting to see our Star Trek Online artist friends, their work on the small screen, I guess we call it, or big screen, I guess. And Thomas also said that he designed and modeled the Pathfinder himself, and it was the first Starfleet ship he made for STO. So seeing it become the canonical Voyager B is very special. Congratulations, Thomas. We're always so happy to see your work pop up in amazing places. And we're glad to know you. Yeah. All right. So this episode is also sponsored by Modifius Entertainment. Of course. The people who published the game system that we are playing. And I want to tell you once again, you can go to modifius.net to order lots of books. They also have lots of things that you can pay for, but also lots of free, smaller bits of info. Like there are certain stations that they describe in detail, and you could just download like a free PDF from DriveThruRPG, or I think from their website as well. If you are a burgeoning Star Trek Adventures game master, definitely spend some time looking at modifius.net and DriveThruRPG for their free content as well, because it's just a treasure trove. I have barely even touched the surface, and Eric and I are probably two of the people who read the most Star Trek Adventures content out there in the world. It's great. It's amazing. So definitely check out modifius.net and find them on DriveThruRPG as well. And then we'd also like to thank Explore Mars for partnering with us as our nonprofit partners. I have something special for our audience tonight. I mentioned the Humans to Mars Summit that's happening in a few months in May in Washington, D.C. We have a discount code for registration for that Human to Mars Summit. So if you will be in D.C. or can be in May, or want to be because you're a huge Mars and space exploration fan, use the code ClearSkiesMars. No spaces. It might need to be all capitals, so go ahead and make it all caps. Clear Skies Mars. Someone should be putting that in chat right now. And if they're not, that's okay. Somebody will do it. Clear Skies Mars is the discount code, and you can register for that summit at exploremars.org/summit. SUMMIT 1T. And those are the announcements for today. Does any of my illustrious beings here have announcements? Do any of you have announcements?
I do.
Yes, go ahead, Noir.
So a new episode of Dungeons and Dragons is coming out, where we talk about more of the stuff going on in the TTRPG community. And I'm gonna be starting a Star Trek show of my own, called The Black Directive, in which Section 31 from the Kelvin timeline has found a way to access the Prime timeline. So we're just gonna have some fun with that.
Prime time.
Amazing. Very, very cool. Go check that out, folks. Any other announcements? I see an Eric.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that our next issue of Dawn Attack, written by Jody Hauser and myself, is going to be coming out next month. They usually come out the first Wednesday of the month, but sometimes they've had to delay it a little bit. But that should be coming out in March, so just keep an eye out for that stuff.
Very awesome. Very exciting. And very exciting to see Jody meet Jody this weekend at Gallifrey 1.
Yeah, Jody got to meet Jody Whittaker at Gallifrey, so it finally happened.
That picture, that was a great picture. Like my nerd heart just grew 3 sizes. Any other announcements? Danielle.
So this is very niche, but that's who I am. I'm only for a few people. If you are going to be in or around the Los Angeles area for WrestleMania, stay tuned to my Twitter, because for my podcast Tights and Fights, we're going to be seeing about hooking up some kind of either panels or meet and greets or something. We're going to have some kind of fun live thing where like we can all get there and hang out, and and talk about our favorite dumb, great, amazing, horrible, awful, stupid, wonderful, the best thing in the world thing ever. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, find me on the Twitter. Like I said, we'll be announcing stuff as we get closer to Mania, which is right around the corner.
Amaze. That's amazing. Any other announcements? Bonnie!
Yes, hi. So for those of you who are doing the Star Trek cruise, which embarks on Friday, for those of you in the LA area, all the Star Trek cruise folk, well, a lot of them, are doing a meetup at Scum and Villainy on Thursday. I believe they're even going to open early for everyone at 3. And y'all should, even if you're not going on the Star Trek cruise, if you're a Trekkie and in the area, come and join us all. I'll be doing a 45-minute concert.
Thursday at 3?
Thursday at 3 is when it opens. But I don't know when the concert will be. Probably like 6.
Can I drop your name? Can I just be like, hey, everybody, I know Bonnie Gordon?
Yeah.
Can I do that? Yeah.
I mean, just show up.
Only do that if you're Eric.
Okay.
And then, and again, March 9th through 11th, or whatever weekend that is, in that weekend, I'll be in Minneapolis near Kaitlin. Haha. So I'll be a musical guest of honor at MarsCon. So come and hear me do nerdy things. Like
Amazing.
sing about nerdy stuff.
Wonderful. Any other announcements? Caitlin?
I'll throw out super fast. I produce a podcast called Thin Places Radio. It's a little supernatural audio drama. Every episode's less than 10 minutes, so you should check it out. It's on all podcast platforms. We took last week off for health related issues or reasons or whatever. So we're taking a little breather, coming back to it this week, next week. I don't know. Stuff is happening. Very cool. We have a couple interviews coming up, so keep an eye out for that. I don't know when any of them are getting released, but people are interviewing us about the show, which is very, very cool. So check that out. Thin Places Radio.
Amazing. And any other? Sam?
It's science time. It's science time. It's science time. We get to do science. It's science. We're gonna build stuff, and then we're gonna do science about it. And the stuff we build is gonna do science and science. And I'm excited.
With that, my friends, Mike, let's build. seconds do we have? All right. Now, last week, we had our first holodeck episode or holonovel episode. And afterwards, everyone went off to their own devices, probably got some sleep to get ready for the next day. And of course, now here we are, a new day dawning on Utopia Planitia. And we wake up in the quarters of Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee. Lieutenant Koi, can you tell us a little bit about your quarters, what they look like?
Yeah, I have basically like projectors on all the walls, so it doesn't look like a normal cabin. Like you can see on one side, it looks like there's a waterfall here. On another side, it looks like a cloud. And another side over here, it's kind of like jungly with like nature sounds. I just want to make it seem like I'm back in like my village that I grew up in with like all the sights and sounds. You'll also see that there are various shelves in the corner with jars full of like fermenting and pickling items. And I'm just like, there's just a ton of stuff that's like in preparation mode for to be eaten or used on your body in some way. If I'm waking up, I'm probably going to have just popped out of bed. And I have a link to my family. So I'm going to have my nieces and nephews just always like chattering away to just like remember what it's like being around them. I can turn it off and on. It's just like their playroom. So I'm just surrounded by the voices of like family and like home.
You have how many nieces and nephews?
17.
Wow.
We're a prolific family, you know? Just everyone loves to love. That's how we started off. And they're ranging ages from like newborn baby all the way up to like probably just right around my age as well. But this is kind of centered on like the family compound. So there's just going to be like the living room area. There's like a feed into it and everyone knows we're being recorded all the time. But it's a nice way to stay connected.
That's amazing. Yeah, so as you're going through your morning routine, getting ready for your work day, you hear the sounds of your family kind of like piping in throughout your quarters. And as you move through different, the different spaces in your quarters, which aren't very big, you are a lieutenant. So you do have like I would say small to modest size quarters, but you are able to move like from the sleeping area over to the bathroom and the sonic shower. And then there's another corner where you have your replicator and of course your jars of fermenting things. And as you move through those different sections, you hear the different pieces of conversations happening from your nieces and nephews. And you hear two of them, some of the younger ones, kind of fighting over a toy. That was mine. You know that was mine. I told you. I put my name on it. I don't see a name on it. Well, we scratched it off. See? And no, it was mine. You just hear this argument happening.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pipe in and kind of respond to them and be like, Avery, you know that's not yours. What do we say when we want to share? Yes. We say please. We say thank you. Okay. And then I'm just gonna like give him my stern stare and be like, and now hug each other. You know you have to. And
yes, auntie. And they hug each other. And you can tell they're still upset, but they're definitely complying. They're listening to their auntie.
And I think like I'm smiling, but also just kind of like a little sad. Like whenever like I see them, like it makes me so happy, but also just kind of like a little bit nostalgic to feel like those hugs. I think like when I'm home with them, I'm used to having a million children hanging off of me and just like sitting on me and like swinging around. And I think I try and replicate that with like the people I'm around and kind of continue that love. But I do like chat with them variably while I'm in my chambers. Also, because of my fermenting things, my morning routine includes going around and like shaking pots and like going inside and like stirring things around, and kind of just make sure everything is like living and thriving in these like little bacterial colonies that I've made.
Okay. And yeah, as you're doing that, yeah, you're still hearing the piping in of your family sounds. You hear your sibling. What is the name of the sibling of who's the parent of these two children?
Michella.
Michella. So yeah, you hear Michella come in and say, "Okay, Avery, Jessup, come on, it's time. It's time for dim sum. Come on, come on, honeys. Oh, are you there? Koi, are
Oh,
you there?
yes. I was
Hi,
just
honey.
listening in, see everyone, how they're doing. Hi.
Oh, it's so good to see you. We miss you a lot.
It's so good to see you. Have you been busy?
Oh my God, been
How's
so
the rice
busy.
doing?
It's doing great. We've had an overflow. We've made lots of sales. Yeah. We had a special chef
Oh, I'm
come
glad
in.
to hear that.
We have a special chef coming in and made us dim sum with a lot of the extra things. The chef is dating Joseph. Yeah, they're a super cute couple.
No.
I know, and this is how he's introducing his new boyfriend to the whole family. Can you believe it?
Oh, that's so smart. That's so
I know.
smart.
It's
Through
really
food.
smart. Yes,
Oh,
with food. Brilliant. Yeah. So I'll
That's-
tell you how it goes.
is that? I'm
Is it
so
what?
so jealous that I cannot be there with you right now. Did you guys make spring rolls too?
Of course. Maybe we can like freeze dry them and send you some? Or like, oh, you know what's
Yeah.
better? You have those replicators. We can like replicate you. We can send like the recipe in the replicator. Actually, I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna
Can you do?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you make sure that it's from the field in the northeast corner? Because I think that one has the best sun, so I think that's gonna have better variables. So,
Oh,
thank
absolutely.
you, Michelle.
Sure. I miss you so much, sis. When are you gonna come home to visit? Do you have like a break anytime soon?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Well, maybe I can bring the kids to visit. Oh wait, we just missed that open house thing you said you did.
I know you guys are so busy. It's okay. This is almost as good.
Yeah. We're really proud of
But-
you. And everything you're doing.
and I miss you guys so much. I have to get going. Work starts for me very soon, so I'm just glad you were able to say hi today.
Yeah. I love you, sis.
I love you too.
Okay, come on. Okay, go wash up. Let's go. And she takes the two kids by their hand to go wash up. And they leave the room. Okay.
I'm okay. I'm great. I'm fine. And I'm just gonna finish putting on my makeup for the day, doing my hair up, and do a handstand for 5 minutes to try and get the blood flowing to my brain so I can focus on my work for today. So that's how I'm gonna finish out my time in my quarters, is just upside down against a wall.
Yeah. And as you're upside down in that handstand, you're facing the wall with the waterfall. So the water is kind of going the opposite way. It's going up in your view. Just feeling everything inverted for those 2 minutes. Kind of bringing you to a nice grounded place, freshening, bringing
Yeah.
fresh blood to your brain. So that you can have that nice crisp spark that you do as a engineer, lifestyle engineer. And with that, we're going to cut ahead to your office as you stroll in through the lobby of the Design Bureau, past that beautiful, long, tall wall of gardens, and off to the right into your section of the building. And as you open the door, what projects are you currently working? Have you started work on the interior design of the new Ross ship?
Partially, yes. I think the last time that we talked about it, I've been doing surveys for all the staffing to see what they would be interested in having on there, kind of what their cultural makeup is. And I think looking at it, there's a sense of, and I have my board in front of me with all these different ideas and kind of like, almost like, I hate to say it this way, but like, when there's a detective trying to solve a murder and there's just like a lot of things pinned onto a wall and then like string kind of attaching those different ideas. So I have a few different themes marked up on there. One of them is like renewal, is like a word on there with various like pictures and ideas surrounding that. Renewal, and also just calming. So I think that's like the senses that I get of what people want on this ship. So around renewal, I marked out a few different ideas. One of them is going to be a spa. So kind of just like, again, with the waters, I think I run into the lab with an idea after having been upside down of a sense of like waters flowing in different directions. So I think right now I'm going to try and make something new and see if people might be into it. I'm thinking of a sort of like hot tub / shower where you're just kind of being blasted with water in all different ways, and kind of just thinking, would people be into this? So I think I'm going to start sketching on a pad, doing some like mechanical engineering of what that might look like to be in a tub, a communal hot tub, and water flowing from many different directions, and kind of like sitting down and like sketching that out on like a pad.
Amazing. After you're doing this for a few moments, kind of getting in the groove of your work of sketching out this shower spa idea, the door to your workshop opens and in strolls Ensign Charles Campbell, your assistant. And he's carrying two hot cups of hot liquid. He says, "Good morning. I brought you some tea."
Good morning, Charlie.
"Hey, girl."
Oh, thank you.
He hands you this one. I mean, I'm sorry. I need to.
Hi.
No one's around though, right? I can just call you girl.
No one's around. How was your date last night?
Oh my God, it was awful. I just can't. I'm just so sick of dating.
No.
I know. Like, you always tell me like to just be like have my heart on my sleeve and stuff, and I try to do that, but then like, I don't know, this he's kind of a meathead. Like, he's really amazing and capable engineer. He's in Salvage. He's a teller.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's great, but like he's kind of my type, but we just didn't connect like emotionally, you know? Like, I was just like effusively emoting, and he was just kind of like Salvage, breaking ships apart. Like, what? I can't connect to that, you know?
No, and you need
like,
to be
too
able to
judgy.
have that like mind to mind connection. No, you follow your heart in everything that you do. That's why I love you so much. And I'm gonna like just hug and just like do that long hug where you're just kind of like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine.
Oh my God, you're like
And
the
if it
best
didn't
boss
work out,
ever.
that's okay.
You're so sweet. Thanks. Thank you.
No, working with you keeps me grounded. I love hearing what everyone is up to. You know, you're my like spider connection to the rest of the crew. The people who are scared of me, I think they're not scared of you.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think like you're so sweet and kind. Having me be like the go-between gives you an air of mystery, you know? It like it makes you like more imposing, so they really like listen to you, you know? Not that you couldn't do that yourself, but I'm happy to be the go-between.
You're the best. And then I think I'm going to, at this point, I have enough of a mock-up of my like shower tub thing that I'm gonna try and like get it made in one of the like I guess like a hollow chamber would probably be the best way to kind of manufacture this. And so like as I'm kind of listening and chatting, I'm kind of like marking on the pad and I'm like assigning it to the first room on the left, and I'm gonna be like, Charlie, do you want to try something new?
Yeah, I'd love
Be
to.
my guinea pig.
Yeah, sure. What are you working on? That looks cool.
We need to strip down first before we go inside.
Oh, wait, naked?
To your degree of comfort, you know? I mean,
Oh, okay. I can like
yeah.
like
You can
t-shirt
wear
and boxers is fine.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You can go in like this if you want to. It's just I didn't want you to get terribly wet and be dripping afterwards.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in the.
Oh, and I'm like, yeah.
Over.
And I'd be like, oh, I totally forgot to tell you what it is. And I'm going to throw the schematics onto the board just so that he can see kind of what I've sketched out so far.
Wow. Whoa, this looks amazing. Like,
Yeah.
there's just water shooting from every direction.
Yep. It is going to be a rainforest shower falling from the top, along with about waist-high warm water and mossy seats underneath. And then steam coming in from the sides. Yeah. So it's like almost like a volcanic, like rainforest hot tub. And I'm just going to change into what I'm wearing. And what I'm wearing is going to be almost like an old-timey bathing suit. That's like very full coverage. That's going to have like little flowers all over it. And this is something that I designed for when I go into my water things. Yes. So I'm gonna go and like change behind another privacy screen as well, and then like open the doors and like, I think as they open, you'll see like a waft of like steam like come out, and it's going to be scented with like kind of like eucalyptus and mint and like very vegetal smell coming out. And I think I'm like, so calm, and like walk in.
All right. And Charles goes into a little corner changing room, comes back out in his t-shirt and boxers, and joins you in the hollow, what do we call it? Hollow lab? Hollow chamber.
Hollow chamber. Yeah. And I think I still have my pad with me. And it's waterproof, right?
Also,
Should be
it's a
fine for me to,
it's a holographic thing. So yeah, like it's
Yeah.
not even real water. So yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, good. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to destroy any equipment. So I think walking in, you can kind of like see the logistics of everything would be set. There's like a sort of walking ramp down in, and there's stones, and you can feel like this is very much a visceral experience where you can feel the stones underneath your feet, walking in, transitioning to sand at the bottom, and so that you can like really dig your toes in, scrunch your feet, and just kind of get a really good sense of what it is to like leave another world behind and enter this.
Wow.
That's like the design that I've made of what I want people to like just lose themselves in peace and tranquility.
I love it. Charles follows behind you as you walk and cross through these boundaries and this changing landscape and the sand underneath your feet becoming deeper, and says, "This is incredible."
Do you feel renewed and refreshed? And I'm gonna be really in his face, like trying to read his like face features to get a sense of how he feels about everything.
Go ahead and do a presence command roll. And I would say, since you know him well, this is not going to be very difficult at all. I think it's actually just difficulty 0.
Okay.
Difficulty 0,
All right,
presence
so
command.
presence 8, command 2. Okay. First roll is an 18. Oh, and a 5. So
Okay, so you get one
it's-
momentum from that. Oh, no, command. You don't have a 5 in command. right?
yes,
You do?
I do not.
Oh,
I do
okay.
not. No.
All right, so that's just one success. Go ahead and bank that momentum. I think you all had 3 from last time. Is that correct? Does that sound
Do they
correct?
reset at the end of scenes?
At the end of scenes, that's true. So you may be back up to 3 now. And
Okay.
what you're seeing and sensing from him is that yes, his forehead is smooth. There's no frown or wrinkles of any type of tension or frustration. His eyes are very wide and taking in the beautiful sunset and beautiful landscape here. You also notice that his shoulders are kind of like relaxed and down, and he's grazing his hands on that waist-high water as you all walk through it. He just looks super relaxed. And he says, "I'm sorry, did you ask me something?"
Oh, and I'm like, this is wonderful. And I'm just furiously like writing it down on my pad. That's like in very scientific terms of like subject seems relaxed. Shoulders have decreased by 2.5 inches, and just kind of like writing all this down as my first test subject to see how this feels for him. And this is all being linked directly to his personnel file. I have personnel files on everyone and all the experiments that they've done. So just trying to find like common linkages between how people feel, a resting heart rate, and what they enjoy so far. So I have so much data on everyone, which I don't know if everyone knows about this, that I am constantly taking notes on everyone's reactions all the time and putting them into like this very massive file that I have in my own personal server.
Okay. Great. Just making notes as well.
Like I am, notes of everyone that as they pass through. Yes. And then while he's in there, I'm gonna, because I'm not in real water, right? So nothing's gotten wet so
Right.
far.
Exactly.
I'm also gonna take a
will
pineapple
say-
cake out of my pocket and try and pop it in his mouth. Can I do that?
Sure. I will say too, even though you're not actually getting wet, you have the sensation of water. So it was good that you said change into clothes that will be more comfortable for water, because it looks like your clothes are wet. It's holographic water though.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. Great.
it's more comfortable to
I'm still
be
gonna
dressed
pop
for
a
water.
pineapple cake into his mouth. Okay.
Is it the
Because
kind?
it is on his
is it?
top 5.
What
A
does the
pineapple
cake look like?
is it's like a rectangle, and it's a shortbread pastry with a pineapple jam inside of it. So it's kind of
Yum.
dry and crumbly with like
my
a sort
God.
of sweet tart middle. This isn't his favorite snack, but it's in his top 5. And I kind of want to see the feeling of food inside of a wet environment, if it makes him happier or more confused.
Okay.
So like as he's talking, I'm just gonna try and like pop it into his mouth and kind of gauge his reaction as well.
Yeah, let me see. I wonder. I want to make this a roll, but I'm like, I think maybe you roll for like the cooking of it or something. Let's see.
I don't even like pineapple, and that sounds just
It
absolutely
sounds
wonderful.
Amazing.
It's so good. It's so good.
I would say control engineering, funny, or no, control science, because cooking is science, baking is science. Control science for you.
Oh, excellent. Fantastic.
Difficulty.
And what's the difficulty?
Difficulty 1. I mean, it sounds amazing. It shouldn't be hard to.
Yeah. So I need to hit 13, and I got a 13 and a
Okay.
9.
That's
so
two
I think
successes.
that's 2 successes.
Yep. Yeah, so bank one more momentum from that. And yep, you just pop it into his mouth, and he starts chewing and says, oh my God, top 5 favorite.
Yeah. Is it good in the water?
It was a little surprising, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I like it. Oh,
Okay.
what if we program for there to be some like pedestals, like high bar tables throughout this area, and we could have pastries replicated on each of them, and a different pastry on all the different ones, so people can like wait over to a
Yes.
different one.
Yes. Charlie, you are my mind. You're my mind's fire. And I'm gonna like keep writing these notes down and see if I can like, I should be able to just like change it at a whim, right? This is my lab, so I'm just gonna like do it on my data pad and like throw in the schematic, and there's these tables popping up everywhere.
They pop into existence.
And like little tiny umbrellas. This is also might be dumb, but you know, like those little cocktail umbrellas that you can
Yeah.
get on drinks. Those are the kind of umbrellas that are kind of shielding the tables from like the rainforest water overhead. So you get this
so
like
big ones, you mean? Big versions
Yeah.
of that?
yeah, like parasol sort of things, and it's just shielding the food and protecting it, so you can like kind of paddle over and like have little snacks while you're relaxing. I love this. I want to be there. Whew. I mean, I am there.
All right. So yes, you all just keep tweaking and fine-tuning this beautiful design as we shift over to the commander's the commander's office in the admin building. Commander Veluth, what's the first thing you do when you stroll into your office in the morning?
Immediately I'm immediately looking over the notes that I took while in the laboratory studying the anomaly within our starship. Um, and I'm just trying to. He's like a dog with a bone with this particular mystery. The last thing that they were doing was virtually kind of taking apart the ship part by part. So he's just going over to see, once this was removed, how did the anomaly act within the simulator? Once this was removed, how did it act? So he's just literally going over the data.
Great. And let me just see something. Okay. So yeah, as you kind of are sitting at your desk and going through all of this data, kind of crunching the science and the engineering of what could be happening in the ship, from the second room of your office, door opens and in strolls a Klingon who you know to be your assistant. And he says, "Good morning, Commander Veluth. Did you sleep well?"
I did not sleep at all, so I believe the answer to your query is no.
Why did you not sleep? That's very bad for your health, even a Vulcan. Or did you meditate all night? Is that what you do?
I had some time for meditation in the form of reviewing data, so yes.
Oh.
Technically.
Well, I guess that's how you got this job. You stay up all night and you work harder than everyone else, so I respect that. And Kamenuk walks over to you and puts a pad on your desk and says, "You have received a response from your query to the aquatic and holographic new members of the new Ross ship. I just wanted to give it to you right away, because I know you were waiting for that. Is there anything else you need this morning, Commander?"
Nothing further. Thank you for being so prompt with this.
Great. And he turns and goes into the other room.
Veluth is just gonna smile to himself and look over the message that he just got.
Okay, so you see that this is a response, and I'm putting this actually in your DM for Discord so you can see it. You get a response from your request to the crew of the new Ross. Two of the new crew members, one of the holographic crew members and an aquatic crew member, have responded to your query of you were asking if they could give some insight and help to the lifestyle engineer and the cabin designer for making this a space that they can live and work and thrive in. Two of them in particular wrote back, and you notice that, number one, there's a holographic crew member and an aquatic crew member. The aquatic crew member is of the Selkie species of the planet Pacifica, which is very rare in Starfleet. These two are both currently based in Hong Kong on Earth. And they, in response to your query, said that they would be open to being interviewed in person in Hong Kong for the design of the new ship, but they wouldn't be able to come to, Utopia Planitia because they are tied up in training. But you're welcome to send them any questions or have someone there interview them to gather information.
Alas, and here I thought something would be simple. Okay, well, he's gonna take a deep breath, replicate some tea, drink it, sit down, and then, okay, Koi, V, if I could have you to my office, please.
Boop, boop. Koi, you are still tweaking in your spa, shower, amazing grotto area, and you get that chirp from your communicator.
I will be there immediately, Captain, Commander, and I'm just going to bolt out of there in my bathing suit. And still kind of working on everything, just kind of keep walking towards where the commander's office is, while kind of taking notes and thinking about what can be better.
Okay. You scurry across the courtyard in the Martian desert in your bathing suit. over to the administrative building, go up the lift, and to the commander's office.
You wanted to see me?
My sound cut out for a hot second. Did you change it to a uniform? Because Baloo is going to be okay. Well,
She did say it was like full coverage, like so it's like it looks like a Spanish
It's
suit.
like old timey, and it has
Is it
flowers on it. Yeah.
Baloo is very much like me. It's just intense eye contact. We're not messing up. Thank you for your expediency, Lieutenant.
I came immediately.
Veevee answers the chirp. Hey, I'll be right there. Veevee is currently brushing her tongue, her incredibly long Denobian tongue, because that is part of like Veevee's get ready ritual. You gotta brush that tongue; it's so long. Hey, okay, bye.
I wish I could.
And
say
then
that was
starts
the-
like walking towards as she like takes the tongue scraper out and like does away with it and starts walking towards the office.
Okay.
I wish I could say that was the first time she responded to a chirp like that. Well, Lieutenant Coy, while I have you, we've got some news on the crew for the Ross. They are going to be
Excellent.
able to have some discussions with us about their accommodation request.
Wonderful.
There is, however, a particular hurdle that we will need to overcome, and I'll save that until V gets here. I just wanted to take a moment. How are you?
Amazing. So good. Are you
Good.
Are you all right, Commander? You
Glad
look more
to
stressed than
hear it.
usual.
Are you enjoying your time here at Utopia, Lanisha?
Yes, of course. No, I'm not. I can't. I don't know. I can't hold that lion. I love it here. It's amazing. I just
Okay.
sometimes I just get really sad and I have a lot of feelings. And I'm gonna go over and are we in his office right now? I'm just gonna sit in on the desk and just kind of like make myself into a little ball and just be like, I like it here, but just sometimes I get reminders that it's not exactly home, and I feel like, and I just kind of want that like family connection. And as I like in a ball, I'm kind of like reaching my hands out towards Veluve, kind of like, just like to feel the love of my family and just have that connection, and I'm like just kind of reaching towards him like a plant might do towards the sun, and be like, and feel like I'm not so alone sometimes.
Wolf is going
And
to
I feel
lean forward, I guess, for a hug. Like awkwardly.
and yeah, and it's gonna be like a vine reaching towards water where it's just kind of like I'm going to encapsulate, be like, Commander, sometimes I just wish I could be with my family. And I'm just gonna be like a weepy tentacly mess as I'm kind of just like holding him and crying. I'm not usually like this every day, but today of all days, it just feels like one of those homesicky sort of days. Because that's just how Koi is. Yeah.
Hello. Knock, knock.
Door opens. And actually, both doors open. The front door and then the side door to the extra room. And Kamenuk, the Klingon assistant, also comes out and says, I did not realize there was going to be a meeting. Do you want me to make arrangements, Commander?
That won't be necessary.
Are you sure? Because that is my job. The job that I currently have. Not your job, my job, to prepare meetings. Do you need anything, Commander?
You know what? We could make whatever arrangements you feel necessary.
I will replicate some tea for everyone.
Wonderful.
Oh, I would love tea. That sounds amazing.
Good.
And I'm just gonna like
stomps over
look
to
up
the
for my
replicator.
head where it's like kind of buried into Veluve
Well,
and be like,
Now that I have you
yeah,
both
that
here,
would be great.
I've already begun to explain to Lieutenant Coy here that we have received word from the crew of the Ross that we are building they are more than happy to explain to us what requirements that they'll need for their crew. However, they are currently stationed in Hong Kong and will not be able to make their way here. So they have requested that we send a member of our team off-world.
Oh my god,
To
well,
Hong Kong?
I love Hong Kong. Oh my god, I've been to Hong Kong a million times. But I
Yes.
sense that maybe Lieutenant Koi wants to go to Hong Kong more. I'm
Yes.
kind of feeling.
Yes, that's where I was born and raised. Yes, I would love to go to Hong Kong. This is to go interview the staff?
Yep.
Yeah, it
presume
sounds like
yes.
the job is to go and have the staff. So you will speak for all of us here working on the design. You will be our envoy, helping to communicate between with what that staff wants and what we can provide on our ships. And then you'll let me know. I'll make it all white and we'll figure it out.
Oh, Veevee, thank you so much
Well,
for giving
it
me
sounds
this chance.
as though we have a firm handle on the matter.
What smells like pineapple?
Oh, here! I'm gonna take another pineapple cake out of my pocket and sprint over to Veevee and give her a big hug and then
Probably
just
the
kind of
tea.
like put it in her mouth.
Yes,
Oh,
I will let you
Veevee.
feed me as the dominant
Yes.
female in the situation.
And I'm just gonna like
Vivi's
pop
eyes
it
just
in her
roll
mouth.
back in the back of her head as she takes a bite.
I'm just gonna keep pushing it in. And just
Okay,
keep
and
pushing
she's
all
just
of it
like
into your mouth.
chomping as it goes in, almost like just imagine like Bugs Bunny trying to like feed something to one of the ducks, and the duck is just like and was like almost like a typewriter. Just, Oh, I have not had a pineapple since I moved from Earth. These are amazing.
Isn't it so
Also,
good?
I would love to try one with pepperoni on it.
Pepperoni.
It's called a Hawaiian pizza, which is wild because Hawaii has nothing to do with it. I've lived there too. They have nothing to do with it. But just the savory and sweet combo is delicious. But this on its own is amazing, and thank you for letting me have some.
That is a brilliant idea, Veevee. If you don't mind, can I swing by your place later to have a Hawaiian pizza party? I can make more of these and we can try out different combinations.
According to historical records, Hawaiian pizzas were invented in Canada. I don't understand anything about this configuration of pizza.
Earth is. There's a reason why I love it, and my parents hate how much I love it. Dads and mom 1 and 2, mom 3 was fine. They were real cranky about how much I love living on Earth. So I get it. Earth is it's great, but it's a place. I would love to meet with you later, Lieutenant Koi, and we can talk all about what we need to get from the folks in Hong Kong so that we can make this ship everything they need it to be.
Perfect. I'm so excited.
Well, in that case, V, if I might have one moment with Lieutenant Koi here.
Absolutely. And V tries to do a salute, but they don't do these here. So V's like, later, Gator,
Commander-
and goes off.
The attempt is
Comedic,
appreciated.
Comedic follows after you before
Thanks,
you
Amanda.
leave the room and to you, Veevee says, "But you did not have any tea."
I had some tea. If you want to have tea, you can come back in my room because we got to talk. Lieutenant Koi is having a time. Come on.
What?
This is very important for you operationally.
Okay. Commander, may I
You're
be dismissed?
dismissed.
All right.
Cool. Let's go back to my place. Okay, so and then the voice just starts tracking up. So Lieutenant Koi is feeling super homesick.
Okay. And Comedic follows Veevee out.
Valuth is going to basically sign out the release, making it official, and just put the pad down. I hope that this trip helps you in the ways that I feel that you need it to. However, I want you to have a firm and clear understanding that you will be missed. So make sure that you take care of yourself and that you come back in great haste. Though we might not always see eye to eye, your presence here is beneficial.
Beneficial.
To me and the team. Everyone.
Oh, beneficial. Oh. And I think like at this, Koi is just so overwhelmed that she's just gonna like sink down into a puddle on the ground with like knees just like buckling and just overwhelmed by like the feeling. It's like gonna be a complete 180 of like when she was missing home so much earlier. Now she's just feeling like she's gonna miss Utopia Planitia so much. And it's like she feels devastated again in an entirely different way. And she's just gonna keep repeating beneficial as she kind of just like breaks down a little bit mentally of like Valoof saying this to her, which is amazing.
He's gonna get up from his desk and kind of hand on the shoulder guide her to the door. And as the door is open and he stands on the other side, he's going to hand a brown envelope. It's about this size. I know that I don't have the social graces to know how to navigate saying goodbye to a teammate. So I did some reading, and it's customary to give gifts. So take this and have a great day.
Thank you, Commander. And I'm gonna take the envelope and kind of like walk out and kind of like glance backwards at the commander every so often and kind of just stagger out and away.
Okay. And we will end this scene with Lieutenant Koi Chang-Li leaving the commander's office, holding that brown envelope, kind of looking behind her. And as the doors close, Commander Valoof, you just looking at where she just stood. And we go now to a different part of the shipyard. Rylem, is there a place that you would, besides your quarters and besides the warp, the propulsion area, is there a place on the station that you like to tuck away to do some reading, maybe have, well, I was going to say a cup of tea, but I don't know if you imbibe. Let's say do some reading.
When he's looking for quiet time away from his usual lurking spots, it's usually in construction areas of starships or like the superstructure of starships that are currently not being operated on and are usually having the worker drones are moving around and assembling parts. But like his favorite thing to do is either in a ship that's being taken apart or put together to find Jeffrey's tubes and sit within them with just a small with no power. There's no light in there, so usually he just has like a small illuminated like a small piece of like illumination, a piece of tech of illumination, just to have him sits in there in the dark.
So yeah, there is basically a ship graveyard, for lack of a better term. Now, if you look at that main campus map I gave you all, and Mike, if you can pull that up as well. On that main campus map, to the northwest and up is where the salvage area is, and to the northeast and up is where the propulsion fields are, where you and your team will test different forms of propulsion, and usually in small ships like shuttles and things like that. So I'm going to say somewhere between those two large areas in the north of the campus is where you kind of tuck away. You find a big piece of a ship that's just kind of in this ship graveyard where there are hunks of giant sections of ship that haven't been salvaged and they haven't been broken down yet. They're just kind of like in this nether region, this kind of in between area. Maybe they'll be useful in the future, but there has been use for them yet. And yet you find one that has an intact Jeffries tube and you've crawled in. Does anyone else know about this area?
If I had to guess, I would say,
I mean,
I would
this
say
being your
it's-
special area is what I mean.
I would say it's very likely that Ensign Qila knows about it.
I know where everything is in this facility. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Nobody can sneak away without my eyes finding them. The end.
The
Okay.
end.
Read away, darling.
Okay. Yeah, I would say Ensign Qila.
Okay. Is this a morning that you feel like Ensign Qila would have followed you out here?
I don't know. That's tricky. I guess it would depend on what the
I just got an authorization of one of my team leaving for Hong Kong, so I'm busy trying to figure out what is going on.
Yeah, and it's easy enough to beam out here whenever you want.
Sure.
So,
True.
but yeah.
Well, then we pick up this morning with Dr. Reon quietly reading in a Jeffries tube. What are you reading today?
Oh, I'm reading one of the many papers, quote unquote papers on theoretical propulsion by one Dr. Leah Brahms.
Right. Go ahead and do an insight engineering roll.
All right.
See what you pick up from these papers.
Insight in engineering 2d20. That's going to be, I need a 15 or lower.
Yeah, difficulty. Difficulty is 1.
One success.
I'm going to say you've probably read pretty much everything she's published. So this is probably a reread you're doing. So difficulty 1.
Okay.
You've read it before.
I roll an 11 and a 14, 2 successes.
All right, bank 1 momentum.
That's 1.
So we lost 2, I think. Yeah, we shifted scenes twice, so I think you're back up to 1 or 2 momentum.
Take 1, so momentum. All right.
Yeah, is there anything in particular you're looking for in this particular?
Yes.
paper?
He has been, so Rylem, even though he hasn't had a chance to discuss this with the commander just yet, Rylem has been non-stop. Any waking moment he's got has been chipping away at the conundrum of the secondary warp core and using it properly in the upcoming Ross revisions to the class. And one of the things that he's studying right now is using all of the power systems that are available on the ship, and some of the new updated technologies were implemented upon the original Ross class and some of the later classes of ships. Now, in this case, the Ross actually had a pair of engineers that were on board that did a lot of really exceptional work that he's been researching their original notes of how the NX Ross functioned and the problems that they had with the EPS conduits. But he's also been going back further and further and looking at some of the more experimental technology that's been used in propulsion in the last 20 years. So that's kind of what he's studying right now as he's coming up with, and he has like 4 theories and 4 different things that he wants to talk to the commander about, but he is just organizing his thoughts on how to pitch those.
Okay. So as you're reading through this paper again, it's been a while. You probably last read it when you were studying, when you were in school, in grad school. Remind us where you went to. Where did you study?
I went through the
Oh.
accelerated program at Starfleet Academy's science division, but I actually did a longer stint at the Zephyr and Cochrane Institute for Theoretical Propulsion and studied
Right.
under Dr. Leah Brahms. as
Right,
my-
and that is a subsidiary of the Daystrom Institute as
Mhm.
well. So yeah, it's been that long since you last read this particular paper. But there's some things you're remembering from this, and you're getting inspired by this paper of some different ways that you can maximize those EPS conduits. There's also, let's see. You read some things that she wrote for her thesis that she's quoting in this newer paper about higher order warp field propulsion applications. This is an area of expertise for her. And again, she wrote her own thesis on this, and then it was something that she based a lot of her later work on.
He's going to be studying that. I'm also going to be studying, this is something I kind of dropped the last time I had a brief moment to talk to the commander, but he also has multiple tabs open on his data pad. So as he's
Sounds
processing,
relatable.
as he's processing the information, so he is switching back and forth between this paper and also he has been studying the experimental use of a subspace tractor beam array. Something of which he himself does not have a lot of experience with, but that the NX Ross actually had extensive use of its tractor beams during its time. Its captain apparently liked to utilize them to solve any problems that any problems that a photon torpedo couldn't solve or anything else.
Off-screen.
No one else can see Sam ranting against you right now.
Off screen, y'all are missing Sam's reactions.
Y'all are missing the light show. But also, in which trying to utilize tractor beam technology. Because remember, Rylem is thinking about how to use, he's coming up with a way to empower a secondary tractor beam array on the Ross class. And one of the things that has caught his attention was this subspace tractor beam, which was actually originally conceived of by engineer B'Elanna Torres on the USS Voyager during their time very far away from home. And he has been researching that alongside the propulsion papers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you are hoping to pull from this research right now?
No, I think at this point he pauses and taps on his communicator. Felicia, are you around right now?
Yes. I'm so sorry. Yes. What do you need, Doctor?
Do you happen to have the location of the commander at the moment? Is he in his office?
I can check. Computer, locate Commander Veluth. Commander Veluth is in his office in the administrative building. Yes, he is.
Felicia, could you do me a favor and try and schedule an appointment with the commander as soon as possible? I need to speak with him the moment he has some free time.
Sure. I'll see if you can get in right away. Are you heading over there now?
I can if he's available.
Okay, I'll let you know. Ensign Smith out.
At that point, he just moves out of the Jeffries tube and onto a ladderway that is about 12 stories high and just descends into this like abyss of darkness down to where the warp core used to be from one of the upper decks and just starts going all the way down.
I'm getting Ray vibes. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah. No, he's pauses for a moment to watch one of the drone construction bots just zoom by and then continues on his way down into the dark.
Okay. And with that, we actually move over to another mid-morning grouping of people in Salvage, staring up at the encased in force field, high-level force field chunk of ship, where there has previously been seen this ripple of very faint light reflecting off of something. We have Dr. Soselle, Tairo. We have Lieutenant Kaz. And we have our intelligence officer. You three, along with some other folks around, some of the other salvage team are staring up at this chunk of ship and kind of discussing and deciding what to do.
I still think we should put it back on the other ship. The rest of the ship.
The Tellarite salvage team member that was mentioned earlier says, and just put it all back in one piece so it's at its strongest and can maybe eat us alive?
Oh, well, okay, where's its mouth? It's not gonna eat us. Well, maybe we can figure out how to get it out if it's all in one piece.
Can I just like take a wrench and pull it out?
Would you like to try? Because I would love to see that.
I mean, I said yes, but the commander and they won't let me.
I also don't think it's possible. So, I mean, is it so for GM? It's between like the interior and outer, like the hull plating, and then like the interior walls. Correct. I just want to make sure I'm okay. It's not like attached to anything. It seems like it's like kind of free floating.
It seems like it's just kind of hanging between. If you imagine a very thin sheet of gauze.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of like suspended. And then along the edges, I will say by this point you probably would have inspected it further, and you see that the edges, now that you can scan it and get a visual of it, like a recreated holographic visual, you see that the edges of where it was cut are like just perfectly sliced in whatever tool was probably some type of laser cutting tool that was used to cut the hull. That's how it's also sliced. And those edges are just kind of billowing in whatever air is moving.
Well, Ty and I were talking about that it maybe was attracted to something in the ship and then just ran out of energy there, or maybe just was happy there if it's a thing that has sentience and enough to have emotions about its location, I guess.
Gina Roberts says, do we even know if this thing is alive? I don't think I've got any confirmation on that. Are we getting any life signs?
That's what I think is our first thing we need to figure out. If this is, in fact, an intelligent being, we need to figure out how to communicate with it.
Does it have we don't see a mouth. Does it speak? Does it have a brain?
There's many ways of communication besides speech. You can even use things like binary code for computers, or some species can communicate with different things like sound or touch, or there's many ways to communicate. We just have to figure out how this thing does. If it does at all, of course.
Smells, colors.
Could I possibly look at some of the scans that's been taken already and see if I recognize any patterns, like if it's something like, I don't know, like Morse code, or is that like a language that I would understand since I have a focus in linguistics and
or
digital.
Like any active readings, like do we have like an active
systems and whatnot,
like current feeds on it, or do we only have our like snapshot scans?
Well, if not, I'll just do a scan of that right now.
I just know if we have a constant monitor, that would be very cool.
I think you could have set that up. I will have you spend 2 momentum to do that, and I think you only have 1 momentum right now. But next chance you get, you can totally set that up by spending 2 momentum.
Could
a constant monitor. Yes, you can.
Hey, crew. Thoughts on
that? If we
go for it.
Perhaps stipulate that the frequencies we detected are the frequencies we have the continuous scan on. That's the most likely to be the EEG equivalent.
Okay. So yes, spending 1 momentum and paying me 1 threat, you are able to set up a constant monitor on this.
Great.
Yeah, have at it. I'll pull
Then,
up the
in doing
bigger
so,
screen.
would I be able to roll to see if I can look at what information we
Yeah.
received so far and
Yeah,
use my technical expertise talent of just in case if I need to.
Yeah. What are you just doing a first look, or are you actually trying to communicate something with it, like tapping?
No, it's not that I'm trying to communicate with it. I'm looking to see if I recognize any patterns. I'm using my focuses in like linguistics and digital systems and
Okay.
anything.
Well, I will tell you.
Any type
Okay.
of, yeah.
I will tell you right now, without rolling, on this constant monitor that's been set up by Lieutenant Cass, it's not. There's no pulsing happening. It's just kind of gently billowing, and again, like the very small air pockets that are moving it on its edges. You don't notice any changes in the frequency or pulsing right now.
Okay.
Now, if you'd like to try to affect it in some way and see what happens, then you can totally do that and roll on that.
Ty, did you figure anything else out? Have you had any epiphanies?
Can I set up some kind of thing that sends out on a frequency like hello in every language and also in like binary code in different in Morse code, like in different and just in anything I can think of as the security offer of knowing, can I like send a message to this creature
So, like
to see if it to see if any change happens, if it
every
acknowledges in any way.
known data-based language.
Correct. And also
Yeah.
like anything that I can think of that like a computer system would recognize as code or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you do that. And I'm not going to have you roll for that
Oh,
because
that was easy.
you
Ha
can, you can do that. You're an intelligence officer. You know how to send messages even in all languages.
Piece
It
of
might
cake.
take a few minutes, but you do it. And there's no change.
From her room, Veevee does, because Veevee has ESP, feel that the message was sent.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like feels that a message that was sent that was basically like hello, and of course Veevee is
And,
like
like,
fully
all the,
primed
"Ni
for people to be
hao,
like,
hola,
hey, what's going on?
bonjour."
And so Veevee like tries to send it back and is like, hello, y'all okay?
Now, we haven't worked with your ESP yet. Is there?
We have not.
Let's see. Are you trying to specifically just respond to the thing that sent the message?
Yeah, just literally be like, y'all okay?
Okay. This
Well,
is gonna
if-
go.
The
to
good news
whatever-
is, well,
Go ahead.
if she's trying to send it to me, Ferengi have
Great
actually.
ears.
Well, no. If she's sending a telepathic message to me, Ferengi actually has
Oh.
immunity to
That's right.
telepathy.
I-
Take that.
I
Or
feel
actually,
like-
I guess you can't read my mind. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I feel like Veevee got the message from the computer,
Right.
and so that's who she would be maybe
Responding back.
to.
So does the
Yeah.
computer
Yeah.
pick that up?
So I think, but I'm gonna have Veevee. We're gonna roll for this. Let's look at your ESP talent. So
Oh gosh.
extrasensory perception. You have an ability to perceive things beyond the normal limits of humanoid senses, allowing you to gain knowledge of people, places, and objects beyond your ability to sense them conventionally. This is known as extrasensory perception, or ESP. It is not directly under your control, but instead tends to come in the form of accurate guesses,
Okay.
strong feelings, or flashes of insight. Such sensitivity often leaves you vulnerable to psychic dangers as well. At any point during play, you may ask the Game Master for hints or insights about the current situation, and the Game Master may similarly offer you information about the current situation that you would not normally be able to determine. Each hint adds 1 point to threat, and you may always refuse to accept the hints offered. Do you accept a hint?
I do. I want a hint. Oh!
I am stacking up threats. Okay. So Veevee, I will say yes, you hear this message that was sent in a specific direction. Your ESP picks up the hello, how, ni hao, bonjour, konnichiwa, like all the different languages, and even some taps in Morse code of hello. And you also sense that it just kind of, whatever was the intended target, you sense that the hello just washes over with no understanding. That target does not receive that message with an intellectual understanding.
That is so weird. Veevee just like has tried a couple of times to kind of reach out. Seems like the creature is not hearing Veevee because Vivi's kind of like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?"
Well, hold on. You actually, if you are trying to reach out to it now, because I imagine that hint was just of you like
You got it from my from me.
overhearing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
overhearing.
So this would be like Veevee trying to be like, "Hey, it sounds like something is needing to be communicated with that can't communicate." It's almost like that thing where it's like you have a mosquito bite that you shouldn't scratch, but then you scratch it. Once you scratch it, it's like, all right, well, if
become
nothing comes
aware.
of it, like it's at least I
Yeah.
didn't make myself bleed. So it's more one of those things where it's like, oh, this is gonna really bug me until I like at least try.
Yeah, okay.
Bug
so now
you? Eh?
So now you'd like to try to talk to this thing, the target.
I'd
that.
like to try to reach out because I feel like just a general sense of like confusion and distress. It seems
Yeah.
like
Okay.
just kind of put out a blanket like, everything cool, or can I go back to my matcha?
Okay. I'm going to take another threat.
I don't like
Sorry.
this threat.
And yeah, you put that message, that feeling of checking in to the target of that hello konnichiwa message you got before. And in response, you don't feel, it's not in words, it's not even in a logical manner. You get the sense of stretching and protection. It's not there's no words attached to it. There's no emotion. It's like a duty. It is stretching, protecting. Those two actions
Okay.
pass through your consciousness from the target.
Okay, cool. So I'll just eat the other pineapple cake I got from Lieutenant Koi. So I'm just gonna do that. Seems like you are good. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay. Back in the salvage.
Yeah, so obviously I didn't get that message. So I'm looking at
None of
at
you
and
did.
everything, seeing no response, going, well, rule of acquisition 208. Sometimes the only thing more dangerous than a question is an answer, and nothing is answering, so I guess we're good. I'll keep trying, but as of right now, I don't think this entity is understanding me at the moment.
So Keith, the commanding officer here of Salvage, turns to Dr. Ty and says, I'm sorry, I think we got distracted. You were going to tell us if you've learned anything about this thing with your biomedical background.
Learned? No. Have questions? Yes. Related to my background in any meaningful way? Again, no. But perhaps in the spirit of at least getting the foundational questions out of the way. Do we have records on where this ship has been?
Yeah, we could find that.
What
Pretty easy,
encounters
probably.
it has had, what readings it has taken, so that we can cross-correlate those against any known or similar species encounters. This is obviously not, for instance, crystalline. Crystals don't billow.
Yeah.
But
Or-
a physically analogous structure, perhaps. When did this come to be here? When was the ship last worked on and taken apart, and we saw that there was nothing here?
Yeah.
I would love if perhaps Salvage has any records to narrow down a little bit more about when and where in space this could have happened, thereby perhaps suggesting more about its nature.
Yeah, so we usually don't need to go that depth with salvage, but we sometimes do, and usually we pass those requests through the intelligence office. So, Ensign Qila, that's who I would ask. That's who I would ask next. And I actually am supposed to like fill out a requisition form and everything.
Good thing for you, my ears are big and I heard all of that. Yes, every ship that comes into the shipyard goes through me first. Well, at least my department.
Yeah, like you do
But
your
I can-
scans, make sure there's no...
Absolutely, and I can get
Yeah.
the records to tell you exactly what the trajectory of this ship was and where it went and its mission log and all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, since Ensign Qila and the intelligence department has access to the databases and the computer banks on the ship, basically we would have to requisition them to like do a full download of the on Ancient Earth they had the black boxes on aeroplanes.
The hell
It's
is
like
that?
It's just like a digital recorder that kind of records everything that happens on the ship, and it's kind of just always running so that it's not, you don't have to like record things. So the computer banks do that automatically. So we would
Why
just
have the
need,
black?
like-
Why have the box black though? That wouldn't that just like fade into a background somewhere or be easy to
Yeah,
lose?
I think that was the point. It was like, it's in the background. It's always running. But
I
anyway,
see.
I was
How-
just over-explaining again. Sorry. Lieutenant Commander Gina says, I told you about the mansplaining, okay? You do it too much, Keith. We're all Starfleet officers here. Just chill it with the mansplaining. Okay,
Jesus,
anyway.
Keith.
Ensign Qila, thank you. We'll get that requisition form in for you ASAP.
Yes, and easy peasy. I can get all that information to you. Well, it is easy, but it'll take a while because.
All right. Yeah.
I'll make
Data
sure. we'll get it.
analysis, I understand, but rule of requisition, number 1. I want that.
Actually, the rule of acquisition number 1 is once you have their money, you never give it back, but close enough.
Can I just say it finally happened? Someone was well actually'd by a Ferengi. And
Well,
I was just waiting for this.
actually. Only when it comes to rules of acquisition. Anything else, go ahead
That's
and
why I
mansplain to the
How-
female Ferengi.
How old is this ship? We're reusing parts, so it's not derelict. Like we're not burning it down to element stuff. How long has the ship been in service?
Wait,
Yeah,
that's an
this-
easy lookup, right?
Yeah,
It's
that
an easy-
should.
You already, like with the original.
probably would have gotten
requisition
that.
form. You would have gotten that info. So let me just look that up in my notes.
Because I know,
this
so
is-
a refit on a vessel like this, at least the protocol would be every 10 years. And we only found this thing by chance, so there's not 100% chance that someone would have seen something a decade ago if there had been a refit at that point. But if anyone noted any anomalies, like Tovaa was like, hey, I saw a weird thing, and it was in the records. So
Okay.
maybe someone saw a thing if it was there, but otherwise, I don't know, maybe we can get some engineer's logs.
The real
too.
question is, was this on the ship when it arrived here, or did it go onto the ship from here? What if
These
it
are
was
all
something already in
great
our shipyard?
questions. All great questions. And before we go on our break, I will tell you that this is. I'll just give you the info again on this.
Yes. Oh, did we
it's
already have that? I'm so sorry.
And I can drop it on our Discord as well. And I think it's in there, but it's it's in a big chunk of text. Actually, might not be. Anyway, it will be. This is a 20-year-old decommissioned Ross-class ship,
20. Okay.
the USS Bovell, recently brought in for scrapping. Most of the tech is outdated, but the interior hull plating is immaculate because it was in deep space and saw little to no action.
Okay.
That's the info the basic info you got on it once it came in, once it was basically sent in for salvage. Now, when we come back, we will probably do some rolls to have Ensign Qila do a deep dive on those computer banks and get the info of where it's been. And we will also continue, continue with this day on Utopia Planitia when we return in 10 minutes. See you all soon. Woo!
merged with an entity of great power. As a Terran, conquest is a way of life, but he has gone too far. Now, we must join forces with enemies, or face obliteration. I want to bring him back from this, but I'll do what I must to stop him. No matter the cost.
This is Defender. We could use more armored units at City Hall, and we have wounded here.
Red Snake, you have incoming contact. Witchcraft, Ironclad, Black Mask. What's your situation?
The undead are numerous and running amok. We're falling back to Force Station Steelhead.
Go forth, my children, and feed upon the living.
I'm just finishing up my patrol now. What the? I was wrong. Things are starting to heat up.
The battle rages onward. Victory will be ours.
Calling all champions. This is a global distress call. Report to the nearest crisis zone and engage the enemy.
Meta-humans ejected. Changing targeting lock.
There's something happening down below in the North Dark Reaches, and I need someone to find out what. A friend of mine, a dark elf by the name of Braylon Janquay, sent a message up that he'd found something unusual, but then disappeared. I need to know what he knows.
My son, the Terran Emperor, has merged with an entity of great power. As a Terran, conquest is a way of life, but he has gone too far.
And we're back. Welcome back to the second half of episode 3 of Clear Skies Perseverance. Now, we had a few things going on at once, which is always happening at Utopia Planitia. It's a very busy station. But before we go back to the Salvage to check out that requisition of the history of the Bovell, I'd like to check in with Commander Veluth. Commander Veluth, back in your office. You haven't left, actually. Just a short time after your last meeting, Kamenuk has also returned from meeting with Veevee. And you get a message come through. And actually, this type of message goes to Kamenuk as your assistant. So in the other room, Kamenuk comes back into your main office and says, "You have a scheduling request, ASAP urgent, with the the director of propulsion design. Can you meet with Dr. Rylem Reon right now?"
Of course.
Your schedule is open. I'm only asking because I want your consent. I know your schedule like the back of my hand, as you know, because I am your assistant. Assistant.
Yes, and you're very efficient. Please send word that I am available.
Right now? Right this second? You're available right now for a meeting?
Right this second.
He taps on the pad. Done. Would you like some tea to prepare for this meeting?
Yes, if I could get 2. One for my guest and one for myself.
I believe he is former Borg. I'm not sure if he takes liquids. Would that be an insult to present him with a liquid?
I think it is courteous to offer all guests, regardless of their ability to drink.
Wise.
I try.
And he goes over to the replicator to replicate some tea. Is there a certain type of tea that he always makes for you that he just knows?
Yep. Veluth loves hibiscus and raspberry tea.
Oh, that is so surprising. I love that. Okay, hibiscus and raspberry tea coming right up from Kamenuk. And moments later, after the tea has been set for your meeting, Rylem, you appear at the office of Commander Veluth.
Stepping into the room with the data pad under his arm.
Doctor, I believe we are overdue for a conversation.
Yes, Commander. I believe so as well.
Do you drink tea?
He'll look over at the Klingon and just say, "No."
I thought so. And he takes one of the cups away and goes into the other room. And then he comes back and, "Do you need me to take notes for this meeting, Commander?"
I believe we'll be fine. You're dismissed.
Thank you, sir. He goes into the second room.
Doctor, the floor is yours.
I would like to ask you first what the parameters specifically regarding the modifications that we can make to the Ross class are. How far may I go?
With the commission ship, we have to stick to the letter of the Federation. We have to build it exactly to their specific specifications. No altering, no getting creative.
He immediately shakes his head and deactivates his pad and says, "Thank you for your time, Commander."
I don't think that we're done just yet. I have been paying attention to you in some of your notes on the Ross. I think that you have many good ideas, and I think that you are confined in your current assignment. So I've gone ahead and requisitioned the remaining structure of the Ross. We're cannibalizing one ship for another. What's left of the original ship is ours to do with what we wish. So if you find your creativity in need of a place to be expressed. This is my offer to you. I'm very curious about what advancement you might have in warp technology, and I would like to see it done practically rather than simply theoretically. So, once I have the shell of that ship, I'll send word to you, and you can begin whatever configurations that you see fit. Does that seem fair?
Fair. Commander, if I may, it feels like I'm being given something to distract me from bothering you.
Well, that was the original intention. I find myself curious as to what your ideas can bring to fruition. I have a few ideas of my own, and I am curious to see if our imagination co-align.
Commander, are you aware of some of the conversation that happens around me about my position here on Utopia Planitia?
I'm aware of everything that happens in Utopia Planitia.
Then I have to ask, am I being delegated to the remedial, ridiculous tasks of simply shelling out these generic starships because no one trusts me with what I am capable of delivering for the Federation?
Yes. But I trust you. And I need evidence that you can be trusted.
I see. So once again, I must prove myself, my loyalties and my ability.
Every day here, we all have to prove ourselves. It's the nature of working with the Federation.
No, sir, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you on that one. I don't believe anyone else here has to do quite as much as I do.
Your burden is greater than most. I will not attempt to deceive you in this. However, should you prove successful in the advancements that you have theorized, if you should prove successful in succeeding here with the pressure and the added burden placed on your shoulder, the success will be all the greater for it. You can consider this a detriment or an opportunity. I believe that you are the type of person that begrudgingly will eventually come around to seeing this as the opportunity because you are smart. I can't wait for you to prove me right.
Thank you for your time, Commander. I'll consider what you've said.
You're dismissed, Doctor.
He strides out, pausing at the door, and says, Commander, I do appreciate what you're attempting to do.
While I can't directly empathize with your current scenario, I do find many of the struggles that you are going through now familiar to struggles that I endured myself. I believe that I will feel a sense of pride in your success. That is all.
Yes, it very well might be. and he'll leave.
Okay. Shh. 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 Kaminik comes in from the second room. I couldn't help but overhear some of that.
And this is why you are such a wonderful assistant. Do you have any critiques, suggestions, or improvements that you might suggest for me?
Well, no, Commander. I think that was a difficult conversation, it sounds like. And I will say, though, I can perhaps relate to Dr. Reon feeling like his potential is untapped and he is being held in a position where he could do so much more. But he is not allowed to. So I understand and I can empathize with that.
It's painfully obvious that the doctor is being treated unfairly by the Federation and by many that find the circumstances that the doctor has survived to be uncomfortable for them. And there is only so much that my recommendation can do to relieve these issues for the doctor.
You are technically one of his commanding officers, so if you have faith in him, then others should as well.
I make no pretense. I make no attempt to hide how I feel about the doctor.
How do you feel about the doctor? I am not sure because you are Vulcan and you never express feelings.
The doctor has earned a place here. The doctor has helped the Federation and continues to do so. The fact that they are ex-Borg, to me, is a mark of valor rather than something to be afraid of. The Borg were a incredible threat. Merely to survive an encounter with them is an incredible feat of determination and will. I believe that it's only in the doctor's nature to prove the type of person that they are. And the Federation and everyone will come to see it in time. I believe that my interfering may delay the inevitable. And so, I will give the doctor ample opportunity to prove themselves to be the person that I know that he is.
Once again, Kamenuk, for the second time today, pauses, raises an eyebrow at you and says, wise.
Not wise, just learned experience. As a Vulcan raised by a human family on Earth, I'm used to the looks that I see the doctor receiving. Fighting, yelling, pushing back will only further their fear.
Yes, I feel that I experienced a similar thing when I joined the Federation, when I joined Starfleet myself. People expected me to be some great warrior, and I told them I'm a trained administrator. I'm not from a warrior caste. And yet, anytime I raised my voice and expressed anything, they thought I was being aggressive, and I was not. This is just how I talk.
People find comfort in their expectations of others. And when we work to show that we are individuals outside of those expectations and stereotypes, that takes away their comfort. As enlightened as the Federation boasts itself to be, it still takes time for even the most experienced Federation members to truly adhere to the honorable standards that they tout for themselves.
Kaminik sighs and looks down for a moment and says, "It is no secret that you know I applied for your job."
Yes.
And you know that I have harbored some resentment because of that. But times like this, I must say, Commander Veluth, I respect you very deeply.
And you are aware that I requested that you be my personal assistant.
Yes, I am aware of that.
You may see it as an insult, but I wanted to put you in the best position to be able to take this from me. I never wanted this position, but that will not stop me from doing the job to the best of my ability. And to ensure that, should I be replaced, it is by somebody that is deserving of the seat. I see you quickly making your way to that position. But it won't be today. You're dismissed.
Kaminik stands there for a moment. It's like holding back a lot of feelings and finally bursts out. It is very hard to resent you, Commander. You are incredibly honorable. He turns and goes into the second office. Shh, shh.
I think with that, Veluth is going to smile and then turn on My Funny Valentine by Anita Baker and just kind of go back to the reports.
Okay. All right. And on the strains of My Funny Valentine floating through the office air, we will go back over to Salvage. Now, the team here, and I believe by this point, whoever else would have liked to join the Salvage team, I think, I imagine that for every ship requisition form, there's kind of, like we have above game, we have the work track and the mechanics. There's probably also some type of just string of reports that get sent out a couple of times a day about status updates so that all departments understand what's going on. Right now, above game, mechanics-wise, you all are working through a consequence with this thing in the ship, as I've been calling it, that you've discovered. It was triggered by your first complication, and every complication you get deepens it. But you can also rectify it and make it not get bad by rolling well and discovering things about it, which you have been doing a bit of both. So now this consequence is underway. A lot of you have been in Salvage looking at it, doing some scans. We got the requisition form into intelligence, and Ensign Qila has, I'm thinking this is like an hour and a half or so later. So midday at this point. It took some time to like download all the data from the computer banks and to see where this ship has been and what it went through.
I was very efficient.
Yeah, it's very efficient to do that in an hour and a half, for sure. It's a lot of data to compile. So I will ask, who is in this scene? Who would like to be in this scene in Salvage? So
this is my turf, so I think I'm here regardless of whether or not I'm helpful.
Is obviously here. Who else would like to be? Qila is here.
Ty will be elsewhere.
Okay, Ty is not here.
Yeah, I know that I have a scene with Koi where we're gonna have kind of our like interior design last thing. So I don't know if it makes more sense for me to be here or to wait until we have our scene.
It's up to you. It's basically an hour and a half later. Think of it this way. Think of it from your character's perspective. If you got an alert out on the, that ship build requisition report logs saying, we have isolated this thing in terms of a certain frequency it shows up on, there's a holographic model of it, and we are now requisitioning intelligence to get data on where the ship has been to find out where this thing came from. Would you want to be there to find out? Would your character want to?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
100%, yeah.
Okay, so anyone else? I have 1, 2, 3. Veevee, Kaz, and Qila. Okay. So you three plus the salvage team. Now an hour and a half later, I imagine you've been just waiting for this report to come back from Qila. Qila, you probably would have benefited from doing this back in your intelligence office because that's where you have all your like really great encrypted, the computer that has the best encryption and everything.
I did. I did.
Yeah, so you were able to,
hour
like,
and a half
scout.
later, I'm back, baby.
Yes.
With
Kaz
my
has
data.
not stopped moving
Qila.
the entire time. Kaz has been like walking circles around Salvage the entire time because like this is what she's doing today, and the fact that there's a pause is very difficult for her. So she's just moving and like talking to people and just kind of making circles around this area.
You got your steps in.
Oh yeah, every day.
What is Veevee doing while you're waiting for this to come?
So Veevee is obviously she was raised on Earth, but she's Denovian. Like it's all about hospitality and whatever. And so Veevee is going around. She has had the replicator make her a bunch of pineapple cakes, and is going around handing them out and being like, "Hey, so like, look, I don't know, you know, but my ticker might be off, but I'm getting a feeling like maybe we should all say some really nice things to Lieutenant Coy. I don't know the next time we're going to see her, and I don't know how to predict that. It's just a feeling that I got. Pineapple cake?"
Kaz goes, "Wait, what? Where's she going?"
"I don't know.
What?
But I'm just getting a feeling." And so what I want is if we could all create, while we're dealing with this, which is very important, if it would be okay for us to all create an open space where if Lieutenant Coy wanted to express feelings, we would be able to do that. And there would be tea and there would be cake. And so I was kind of thinking that this could be a combination. Find out about spooky things, say goodbye to Lieutenant Coy party. And then like, as soon as she says that, a bon voyage like opens up and goes back behind.
Tovaa just goes, still confused. I adore you. We can't eat in here. But if you got it, we can't eat on the salvage floor. Chemicals, radiation stuff, but we can go over to the side. And she kind of like gestures to where there's maybe like a sitting area. We can't, there's crumbs.
Yeah,
on the
let's go here.
Mechanics, we can go over there.
At this time, this is when Ensign Qila enters. Is like, no food in the salvage area here. What's going on? As the security officer, making sure everything's in tip-top shape.
Oh,
I have the
Qila,
data
I'm
you
so
needed.
sorry.
That's all right.
Particles, yeah.
I got the data that you were looking for. I'm gonna hand it off.
Just immediately wants to take it, so has been waiting, and we'll get it up on the big hollow screens or the screens so everybody can see it.
Pause before that happens because I want to see, how do you do on this roll?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Oh, that's right. I thought I was just so good. It was just gonna happen. Okay.
Okay, so this I think is going to be control security.
Aha.
Control because there's some fine tuning that you need to do to make sure you're scraping that data and getting into the just the depths of how it's recorded.
I think a focus would come into play here.
Yeah, I would say. Well, what would you say?
Maybe like tactical systems, digital. I mean, it's not really tactical, but I mean, kind of. You know.
Yeah, depending on how you
infiltration,
roll.
but I'm not really infiltrating. I can just get the info.
Let's see. Your focuses are financing, deceit, digital hacking, tactical systems, infiltration, linguistics. I would say, I actually do think digital hacking could come into play here. So
yeah, I got to do it quick.
Yeah.
I'm bypassing some of the firewalls.
Yeah, there might be some weird places that aren't as accessible. So you would have to like hack into them a bit to find that knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and make that roll. Difficulty is going to be 2.
Okay. I got 1 crit. Well, not like full crit, but a crit with my focus.
With the focus.
A 4 and a 9. So 3 successes. Ooh.
Beautiful. So bank that extra momentum. I think you have no momentum because...
That's true. We don't have it. We have 1 momentum now.
So you have 1 now.
Yes.
And what were you going to say? You were going to say something.
I would like to find out what I find out, but then I would like to use that momentum to obtain information later, because I have my talent. Knowledge equals profit, and an additional momentum is added to the group's momentum pool.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
Can you
basically
tell me?
do a switcheroo?
I see. Whenever knowledge equals when the character spends
Momentum to obtain information.
Got
An
it.
additional
Okay.
momentum is added to the momentum pool.
Beautiful. So you basically you'll just get that momentum back when you spend
It's
it.
a free.
That's great.
It's a freebie.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what comes up in the history. So the larger view is that this ship was out. It spent a lot of time traveling to get into the outer edges of the Beta Quadrant. That was its primary mission, to explore and chart and just learn about some of the systems that A, hadn't been visited in a while, and B, some of which had never been visited or charted. There were some during what we would call the Kirk and Spock era that were visited, and there were some strange things that happened, some strange species. And so this ship was meant to, A, stealthily surveil, not disturb the species there, and see what happened to them, just get updates from afar.
Interesting.
So these are the systems. So once the ship went through, because there's that pass, but maybe I can show you on here. Thank you, Larry Nemechek, for
Yay, Larry.
making this beautiful book, Stellar Cartography. Can you see it? No, you cannot. Okay, I'll tweet a picture of it later. I'm using the Stellar Cartography book because it has beautiful maps of all the quadrants, and in different languages too, like in different Star Trek languages. It's very dope. So once the ship passed, it's been a long time, years, getting from Utopia Planitia, where it was built, and just making stopovers in different star bases through the through the Beta Quadrant. And then finally it got to pass through the Klingon Empire passage. It got special permission to do that. And took some time to do that as well, did some exploration there. Didn't stop. It just did some sensor charting and things. Didn't really stop anywhere there. Just got a scientific diplomacy type of permission to pass through that section of space. Once they got to the other side of the Klingon space, there's this pocket of worlds, pocket of systems that it then spent years and years just slowly exploring and spending time in. There are 2 star bases out there as well. Oh, sorry, 4 star bases.
Ooh.
Starbase 105, Starbase 36, Starbase 117. There's a 4th one that they did not visit called Starbase 123. They just came back after they visited Starbase 117. They swung by another world and then headed back. Those are the star bases it visited. It also visited the following worlds, and I will type this all up. If you missed some in the notes, I'll put it in our Discord.
Thank you.
It visited the following worlds. It visited Omega, which is near Starbase 105. It passed by Outpost MZ5. It did not visit that. It visited the star system Halley, Halee, or Halley. It swung by Starbase 36, which is tucked in with the Klingon space. And then it visited Vault and Krios, 2 star systems that are sort of nearby each other. Then it went to Starbase 117. And finally, it approached Amargosa and Melkotia. Basically, it hid near Amargosa. You are seeing some data that this when they visited Melkotia, they had specific instructions not to approach, not to enter orbit, not to enter that space because of encounters that Captain Kirk and his crew on the Enterprise had with a species called the Melkotians. This species is very telepathic and very xenophobic. And what happened to Kirk and his crew was that they ignored a warning buoy. Surprise, surprise. And it was a warning from the Melkot to leave their territory. But the Enterprise ignored it, went through, and some things went down. So we already know in the database not to approach, but you were tasked. This ship, the Bovell, was tasked with doing a long-range sensor scan just to see, are the Melkotians, are they all right? Are they still there? What's going on? Have they expanded? Have they colonized other systems? What's the deal? So they did that by hiding in the brightness of a nearby star called Amargosa.
Okay. Can I use my obtain information to...
You sure can.
To scout, or this possibly might be a whole new role, to scour the entire, like the last few years of personal logs and just search for keywords like anomaly or basically I want to see if any crew member just like in passing was like might have seen something and said it in their personal log or their a log that might have actually been just ignored by everyone else, or kind of like how we did the first time we saw it blink or whatever.
Yeah, go ahead and spend that momentum. That's a momentum spend, yeah.
Okay, great. Because that way we can try and get like an idea of exactly when this thing maybe got on the ship.
Yep. So, 4.5 years ago, when the Bovell was at the planet Halley, you do notice that several logs mention you basically, let's say that you did this search to, number one, you may have searched like specific phrases,
right,
like anomaly, like you said. But I would also offer maybe you did the search in a way that would pick up shared phrases and shared descriptions of something, which would probably,
entity on the whole.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, that, like if a lot of people were saying the same thing about something, then something happened, right?
Right.
So doing that search, you don't really see anomaly.
That's what you know what I mean.
But you do see several logs mention strange dust. And you dip into some of those logs and listen to them. One of them is from an ensign who was exploring Halley. Halley is a L-class world, so it has some vegetation, but it's mostly rocky. And this ensign was tasked with going off and exploring on an away mission. And when they came back, they mentioned that there was some strange dust that stuck to their boots. It had a shimmer to it. Otherwise, it was like a dark gray color.
Okay.
When they came back in a shuttle, they did a scan on it and didn't see anything strange. They thought maybe the sparkling was because of the specific minerals that were in it. It was just very typical stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary, which is why nothing came of it. But several other away team members also mentioned this. And then you see an engineer's log that mentions doing a routine check of the hull casing and noticing strange dust. They vacuumed it up. That was it. There was no scan.
Dear.
Nothing.
All right. Well, I'm going to flag all of those, and that's also on the reports that I hand to the lieutenant.
Okay. So you all get all of this information.
Amazing. Okay. Do we have access, like, can I boot up any bit, like, do we have the main computer core of this ship still? Like, can I peruse engineers' logs? Like, do I have the black box?
This report has that. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Then since we've pinpointed an area of time, I want to take this down to like essentially the engineers look. Like Qila is gonna be able to like do all personal log stuff, and I want to see if there's anything I can find with like what did the ship notice about itself? Like the computers, did anything get picked up? Was there anything in engineering that spiked or whatever? From that time. From that log start date for maybe the rest of it. I don't know how far out this was, but starting there, I want to start like comparing how essentially if there were any spikes, anything anomalous essentially from that point on. Now that we know where to look.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to take some time too.
Yes.
But you can definitely
know where to
start the
start.
process. And by the way, yeah, I will go back and watch this episode to log all of your progress on the consequence. So let's see, how should we do this? I think Kaz, go ahead and do a roll to kick off you going through these logs, and we'll come back and revisit, and because it will take you time to like go through these logs and piece this together. So I would say insight. You're going through engineering logs to try to piece together a timeline.
Yeah, if I can
and
pick,
see if
yeah,
the
pick
ship
up
noticed
more
some things.
Yeah, pick up instead of the like from the crew standpoint, from like the ship computer, like if the computers or the ship itself noticed
Got it.
anything, even if it didn't flag it, like what did the ship pick up? So I don't know if this
guess
is
that would be engineering then.
engineering.
Insight
Okay,
engineering, yeah.
cool.
So when it
that-
ran its diagnostics, did it flag anything, things like that?
Even if it didn't flag it, just like if I can notice any differences, if we can kind of start narrowing stuff down.
Sure.
So insight engineering.
Insight engineering difficulty. This is going to be more difficult because it's just a lot to go through. I would say difficulty 3.
Okay.
Remember that you do have this one. No, yeah, you got the momentum back, so you do have 1 momentum.
Is it okay if I buy a die, friends?
Do it.
Okay, I'll take it. I have insight engineering.
Yeah, we have
is-
1 momentum, so
Yeah, that
Take
puts
it.
me at 13. Would starship construction or
Yeah.
reverse engineering be helpful here?
Oh yeah,
Probably
I would
starship
say-
construction.
Yeah, starship construction.
Okay. So start
Yeah.
to get the extra 1. Correct. And then, okay. Roll my new Tovaa dice.
Oh, Tovaa dice.
That is 11. What are you? Oh my gosh, I think all 3 of them. 10, 11, 13. I needed a 13. So that's
All right.
that's 3.
Beautiful. Beautifully done. So we will come back to this after you have spent some time reading through these logs or listening to these logs. Now, I'm trying to remember where we were going to go next. I would love to see what's going on with Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee. So yeah, we'll pick up with Koi Chang Lee. Tai,
Yes.
where have you actually? I have a quick question. Tai, where would you have spent the first half of your day after leaving the salvage, or I guess just the next hour and a half after leaving?
Well, those two concerns fold somewhat nicely.
Okay.
Because Tai is looking for Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee.
Okay, great. Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee, where would you be at this point?
After I leave the commander's office and I have this news that I'm going to be going to Hong Kong, I think I'm going to head back to my lab, and then after having left, I will realize that, oh, I have been wearing this bathing suit this whole time. So I will go back and like change back into my uniform, and then tell Charlie and start sort of closing down the current open experiments that I have, just so that nothing is like left to chance, like tidy up the lab and everything. And like just chattering to Charlie the entire time of just like talking about my family, what I'm gonna do. So I would be in my lab just kind of like cleaning up.
So Charlie gets this news from you and says, "You're leaving?" Oh, that's really
It's not
happy for you.
forever.
How long will you be gone for?
Oh, I don't
Did
know.
they tell you?
I'm not certain. I haven't
Is it like
fully
just-
read the report or anything.
Is it like however long it takes you to get the info you need?
I guess so. And up to that point, I think Koi was like super happy and chattering, just thinking about what's going to happen. And this sort of slows her down of, I don't know how long I'll be gone. And she sort of looks around the lab, and she has multiple different experiments going on and schematics. And she starts touching them and like a little bit more mindful now about like shutting everything down. It really depends on how long it'll take. We haven't quite worked with this sort of environment before, so it will take some time to analyze. And she gets slower and slower and kind of just stops and is just leaning against one of the boards, deep in thought now.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to burst your bubble. I just got really sad because I told you before, like, you're like my hero and you're so nice to me. You're the best boss I've ever had. So I'm just thinking about what it'll be like without you here. And like, are they gonna bring in someone else? Because I'm just an ensign. I can't lead this department.
I mean, you absolutely could lead this department. You have so much knowledge.
But I'm just an ensign. Like, I can't like be the head of cabin design or something. It's okay. You know what? Listen. You know what? Listen. This is a happy
Those
time
are
for
just
you.
ranks.
Yeah, you're right. But also, I think we should throw you a going away party. You can invite whoever you want. We'll have it here in the Hololab, and we're just gonna like trick it out with your favorite things. Do you want me to like send invites? Give me a list of friends around the station, and we'll do it. Okay? Like, I don't know when you're leaving, so we should probably do it today because they might ship you off like tomorrow morning.
Sorry, they
Right?
might what?
Shh. Ty enters. Shh. Oh, hi. Sorry. I'm just gonna go over, and Ensign Kimball strolls over deeper into the Hololab, leaving you two alone.
I was just coming by the low grav in my lab that you helped set up the tuning. It was starting to... Everything was drifting left, and I was hoping that you could help and... Really?
I can help you with that between closing everything down. And I think seeing Ty, Koi is like overwhelmed again because I think she's just been like on a mission of thinking everything, and like it's sinking in seeing Ty. She's talking about like the low grab and just like, yeah, I can adjust everything on the mechanics, and her voice is just breaking, and as she like walks over and faces Ty straight on, there's just like tears streaming down her face.
I would like to deploy a hug. And just...
Please attack me with a hug.
I wrap Koi up. Neither of us really the most vertical, so it's not. Ty was never meant to be a big spoon, but gosh, they're trying. They're the big spoon Koi needs right now.
Yeah. Oh, how tall are you, Ty?
Like probably. Oh gosh, human units. Hang on, I can do this. I've done this before. Like 5'4". That's a unit?
Okay, great.
Okay.
I'm 5'10", so
okay, yeah.
I think you're doing like a reach over hug, and I'm going for a reach under hug, and so I'm just kind of like crouching down just so I can be the like little one and just like hugging upwards. Oh, I'm leaving.
Are you going
I just found out today. I'm going back home. Not to see my family, but for a mission, and it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna learn so much. I've never worked with a Selkie before, but we were getting so much momentum with the book club and everything, and I just... Oh no. And I think like
with your family
during
and the mission at the same time, and we'll reverse the monitors. We'll set up station monitors
reverse
everywhere.
The monitors? love to see what's going on. I have a perfect setup. I already set everything up for my family back at home, so I can definitely do it here. And if I could just stay in touch and kind of see everybody moving around, doing everything, that would be amazing. And then during this talk, Koi is also going to be taking a wedge of Parmesan cheese from her pocket and just kind of like munching into it like a little mouse, because this is what like calms her down, is eating Parmesan cheese too. And she's like, yeah, and then also just like absentmindedly like offer some to Ty as well. Like, would you also like some pocket Parmesan cheese?
I will gratefully accept of your pocket Parmesan if there's one thing I've learned of being adjacent to, part of the designer's team. It is never to refuse your snacks.
Yes, this is a really, really good one too. My aunt sent this over to me. And so that would be amazing to feel like I could just still sort of see everything that's going on. I'm gonna miss everybody so much. And
how can you miss
just
us if
wanna
you're
say I
always
really
a part of this
appreciate-
station? I find a slightly elevated thing to stand on to try to get a taller hug.
Yeah, I think it's just like very much she's almost like crouched over halfway getting this hug and just happily holding on. I don't know why I'm so sad. I was so homesick this morning and I really wanted to be home, but now that I'm going home, I just want to be here and just working on everything. And I mean, look over there. And I like point at the hollow chamber where I think the door is probably open and there's like steam still like kind of spilling out, because I was in the middle of like taking apart. I was like, I had set this up and I was hoping that we could all take a test swim in it later. And now I don't think we're gonna have time for that at all. Everything was just starting, you know? I was so excited for this new Ross build.
But you're part of it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Veevee goes over like the speaker's like, attention, Lieutenant Koi. I've heard that somebody get to go home today. Wham, 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 wham. And then starts playing like, so from you, a native Earthling, to me, someone who calls Earth my native home, we have an array of all of your favorite snacks over here, along with the song that in my childhood was a way that we knew that it was time to both love and encourage our friends while also wishing them well. And then all of a sudden you just hear, celebrate good times, come on. Celebration.
Celebration. And I
get
think
used to
since I was
classical
just holding
music.
Ty, I'm gonna like I'm gonna come out from this hug and sort of like take Ty by the hand and spin them around in a sort of like twirl, and like I'm kind of singing along with the lyrics and dancing. Still tears streaking down, but like, celebrate good times, come on! Celebrate
So at that point, with that announcement being spread out, that's basically, so Ensign Charles Kimball, Charlie as you call him, strolls back over with the pad and says, yeah, so I actually, I knew you do that like little book club thing, so I sent messages out to everyone, and Veevee got back to me immediately. She was already wanting to do a party, so we're just going to do it now because we don't know when you're getting shipped out. So they're all heading over here right now. Veevee said she's bringing like Hawaiian pizza. So there's that.
Fantastic.
We're also going to replicate some more of your pineapple cakes. And yeah, anything else you want. Okay, I'm gonna help greet people. As
And
they
I'm
come
gonna wait before
Yep.
Charlie can run away. I'm gonna grab him by both his hands and just like squeeze them tight and like look into his eyes and be like, I could not do any of this without you. I know you think you're just an ensign, but you are my partner in all of this. So I really hope you can keep things going here while I'm gone, because I believe in you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna like bash my forehead into his in a very gentle way, but kind of just like like a very like you got this, and just forehead bash to like show solidarity.
Thanks so much.
And let him go. Yeah.
And he goes to the door to greet guests as they come in. So we're going to do a little, not to end the conversation with Ty, that can continue if you like, but I will narrate what's happening around you as you're conversing. You all in your separate departments and buildings would have gotten this alert. So Veevee sent out a campus-wide alert and instructed people to meet in the design lab, the lifestyle design lab for this party that's happening right now. So as you all come in, you all will have a chance to have a moment with Lieutenant Koi Cheng Li. So I'm going to say, Kaz, when you arrive.
Kaz is being very grumpy.
Okay. You grumpily come in to the HoloLab. And Ensign Charles says, hi, I'm guessing you're a friend of our dear, sweet Lieutenant Koi Cheng Li. She's right over there. Help yourself to some pineapple pies and some Hawaiian pizza.
I will, and I will enjoy it so much. Thank you. And
okay, grumpy.
She's like, yeah. She'll go and like I think spends like 5 minutes like hovering by the food stuff, just kind of like nibbling a little thing until she eventually gets over it because she's wasting time with that she could be spending with her friend instead of pouting. And we'll go up and see what Koi is doing.
Kaz, hi. I'll leave you to say you're gonna do great, Koi. Bye. I snack. Later.
Bye. Why didn't you tell me you were leaving?
I'm sorry.
Who's gonna find all the fun, weird stuff happening on Utopia Pleasure Base and take me to all of them? Oh, she's gonna like grab you and help you pull you up off the floor out of your seat.
And Koi's just gonna like look down at her feet for a moment and just say like, I didn't know how to tell you of all people. I don't want to leave you. And I wish you were small and tiny so I could put you in my pocket and you could always be with me so I could have a partner in crime at all times. But you're not tiny and I'm so mad at you for that. Why can't you come with me?
Because I don't like flying and you know that about me. But also, I don't think I'd be very helpful.
Maybe.
But you're gonna be really good at it.
Koi's gonna like kind of shove Tovaa on one shoulder and just kind of be like, you should be small. And the other one, like, you should be tiny.
I'll try harder. What's the opposite of working out?
That shrinking. Just shrink more.
She kind of like ducks her head a little bit.
And I think Koi's just going to like drape her arms around Tovaa's shoulders and like kind of like slow dance and kind of like whisper things into Tovaa's ears. I'm just like, you know, I hate you so much for staying here and I hate me for leaving and I really wish you could come with me. I had so many ideas for a slumber party that we're gonna have later.
God, well, why are you saying that to me now? Now you're making me sadder.
I know. Sure. And I think like it's almost like everyone else like floats away while she's just like saying this like final like quiet goodbye.
Very
Tovaa.
aggressive, affectionate. The Wonder
very
Twins
mad.
chaos. Like
it's just like, I hate you and I hate that I have to leave you and I love this time together.
I hate that you're
and
so good at your
just
job that they're asking you to go do this because that sucks so bad. You should suck at your job more. Maybe I shouldn't get smaller. Maybe you should suck at your job more.
Yeah, okay, maybe I should. And I think they're
Don't do
like
that.
smushing into each other as much as they can to like almost try and smush as one person.
Tovaa is like
yeah.
5'7", 5'8" so she's not that much shorter than you, but she's broad, and so she gives very good hugs. And eventually, once they're like squeezing each other to a certain point, she kind of just like leans back and like lifts you off the floor just a little bit, just to like, and then sets you back down on your feet.
Yeah, and I think as you do that, it's sort of like Koi does the same thing back, and then it kind of becomes like a dance.
Yeah,
the
like a
two
rock.
of them have
rock.
started to make this crazy.
They're just being goofy in the
like,
corner until
rolling dance. Yeah. And I hope that other people join into this like kind of
there's
impromptu
music playing. We
dance
got
party
music.
that's set up. I'm sure Veevee's there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've started
right,
the
Veevee?
dance floor.
I think Veevee's like. Yeah.
So
Veevee is currently just making sure that all of the apps are getting to the people who like them, because everyone has different dietary needs, obviously. Like when we were at like a port, like where we're at a place like here, while we're trying to get the ship ready, there's so many different people. So Veevee is trying to like make sure everyone has a good time, because Veevee like wants to ensure that people associate their good time with eating their childhood treat with the love that they feel for Koi. So Veevee is just like, oh, y'all eat shrimp chips, right? Here's some shrimp chips. Veevee goes over there and is like, oh, y'all eat algae. I got you some algae. And just like giving everyone their perfect childhood meal so they can associate that positively with Koi and have that moment with Koi.
That is so sweet and wonderful.
Kaz will at some point like spin you into someone else's arms so that you can say goodbye to others on the crew, because she doesn't monopolize too much of your time. But she will. I think at some point you end up back with her, and then she will like if Rylem is around at all, she will probably spin you in his direction.
Speaking of
Which is a stark contrast, because when you come face to face with Rylem, he is stone faced.
Of course.
So when you get spun to him, he's holding what looks like a small cup of like whatever, like one of the drinks that are being served here, and he offers it to you, and he says, "I brought you this drink."
Koi is going to say, "Thank you." Down it. She doesn't know what's in it. She's gonna down it and like toss it in a corner, and then kind of offer her hands in a sort of traditional like waltz configuration, and be like,
Rylem is like, he glances up at your hands for a moment, and then he looks you in the eyes and says, "Your talents were wasted here."
"But I'd love to see what talent you have, whatever it may be."
Unfortunately, that is not being permitted, and I wish you a very relaxing and joyful journey home.
She's going to alter her hands into like a high five, perhaps?
He hesitates, and then he nods and says, "Peace and long life."
I think Koi's still gonna try and like touch it, like hand to hand.
He slowly does the same.
And then
just kind of uncertain if this is perhaps a ritual that he doesn't know about, and just...
And then she's gonna turn her hand and kind of like do a grab, and she's kind of like keeping eye contact with him,
Okay.
and try and initiate like a secret handshake that neither of them know what's happening here.
Yes, he goes through the motions with you.
And then a fist bump. A fist bump. Yep.
Does this ritual have an ending?
And then, yes, I'm like, this is a formal Earth handshake, and at the end, I'm going to look him stark in the eyes and like shake my butt at him, and be like, "This is the last move to do this."
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm gonna bow after this very formal Earth secret handshake that was done. And
Amazing.
say, thank you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Rylem, before you walk away, Ensign Qila has been caught up in doing some intelligence things, and she asked you on your way over to give this to Lieutenant Koi Chang Li, and it's a small gift. It's wrapped. You don't know what's in it.
Am I allowed to tell her that this is from you?
Yes, please tell her it's from. I want her to know it's from me.
Excellent. I just wanted Aliza to do a Ferengi. Okay, so in that case, he just nods and he'll approach her one more time. I'm sorry, I meant to present this to you as well. This is from Ensign Qila.
Oh,
And it's-
that's right.
it
She
actually-
wasn't able to make it here.
It has a handle. It looks a bit heavy, and it's wrapped in paper, like a Federation gift wrap with the Federation shield all over it. It looks very square and heavy. And you
There's
kind of like,
Federation gift wrap?
Sure. In the gift shop there is. Utopia Planitia gift shop. So yes, you hand her this very
Fantastic.
heavy thing with a handle. And Lieutenant Koi Chang Li, you have this. And nearby there are tables, all around. So you could set it down and unwrap it at one of the tables. And when you do, you pull back that paper. And can you hear me okay? Jade, okay, cool. Just checking. You pull back that paper, and there's a note taped to the side of a small fish tank. There's a beautiful fish inside. And the note, when you pull the note off of the tank and you open it, it reads, and I'll do it in Qila's voice. Rule of acquisition number 75. Home is where the heart is, but the stars are made of latinum. Actually, just forget that last part and remember the first. I know you're going home, but your heart is always welcome here, your second home. Love, Ensign Qila. And so you now have this pet fish to take with you.
You'd think she'd be done crying at this point, but she isn't. And just like holding it up, she's just gonna like hold it in front and look at it. And her name's Koi. Like, this is such a sweet, sweet thing to have from Qila. And she's just gonna like wrap her arms around it and just like hold it close. And I think like some water might be spilling out of it as she's kind of like pretending this is Qila and just like holding it close. She's pretty wet from all the water and the crying. But she's also gonna just carry it around the rest of the night and just like hold this fish tank.
At some point, Tovaa will replicate a cover for it, and like while Koi
Oh,
is
it has
moving.
but it does have vents that the water could have been splashing out.
Yeah, she's gonna do a temporary kind of just like a thing, like as Koi is like moving around, and we'll just kind of like reach over her and like kind of pop it on so that she does not get any more of her guests covered in fish water.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, just like holding that around and carrying it.
So I want to give Commander Valuth a chance to have a moment here before we wrap up this party.
Valuth is actually waiting for Koi at the transporter. He wanted to make sure that he personally sends her home.
Okay. Well, then we'll do this. The party continues, and at some point during the party, Ensign Charles Kimball says, excuse me, just wanted to say we are so glad that you have been here, and we will eagerly await your return, however long it takes. We know you'll send back amazing data for us to build these beautiful these beautiful shared spaces for our holographic and aquatic crew members of the Ross. But I wanted to just end this party with 3 cheers for our dear director of cabin design. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip,
hooray!
And we will transition to the next morning.
Celebrate.
Oh yes, that music
Times
kind of sends us
come
out as we
Oh,
exit
celebration.
this scene.
And then the Earthlings begin doing the electric slide and trying to explain it to everyone else. Okay.
Yep. And that's how that party finishes. The next morning, Ensign Koichengli, you've gotten a chance to pack up all of your important things, of course, including Ensign Qila gift fish. Of course, that comes with you. And standing on the transporter with your carefully packed, those like cool luggage things that they have on Star Trek. You have a few of those to take with you on the transporter pad. And Commander Valuth, you're standing to the side of it, ready to send the lieutenant off.
I hope that your party was satisfactory. I heard many things about it.
The things were wonderful. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I'm just so happy. And so sad, but so happy.
You are the first person that I have had under my command that will be leaving. I am grateful for the chance to have one last moment to speak with you because I felt a strong sense of regret from our last conversation. I ended it saying that you were beneficial to the party. That was a gross understatement, and I would like the chance to fix it. Lieutenant Coy, it has been an absolute honor to work alongside you, and you will be deeply missed. I hope that you find all that you were looking for. I hope that your designs are appreciated, and more than anything, I hope that you are able to return to us quickly. I was able to procure a vessel that I believe will have accommodations that you will enjoy on your trip home.
Koi is speechless at this. Hearing this from Valuth, I think for like minutes she's just standing there transfixed at this show of emotion, and she's just gonna say, Commander, I really want to respect your wishes and not hug you and not say anything. I really want to do that. Is that what you want from me?
Lieutenant Coy, you are under the mistaken thought that your hug is unwanted.
And with that, she's just gonna like jump over and wrap him around the middle in like the hardest hug ever, and just like squeeze as much as she can and say like, and like kind of mumble into like his uniform, just like, I'm always gonna come back and it's gonna be great and I'm gonna miss everyone so much. You're the best commander I ever had and it's so wonderful that you just listen and do such a good job. And she's just gonna like keep mumbling this until Valuth kind of like, she can feel him stiffen, and then she'll kind of just like pull away and be like, okay, cool. Commander, I will return once I have finished.
This is actually going to be one of the few times this is one of the few times he actually hugs back, and you do feel a drop of something land on you. And then with that, he's going to guide you to the transporter.
Oh, I think seeing this, Koi knows, like, don't say anything.
And,
just accept.
He's just going to
and
look at
acknowledge
you,
and just
nod, and you're going to see. Yeah,
so
he's
hard to be
willing up.
cool about this. Be cool.
Are you ready?
Yes. Beam away. Goodbye.
Well, that makes one of us. Energize.
And on that command from the commander, the chief transporter officer energizes Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee off of Utopia Planitia. And we're going to skip ahead a little bit, do a little bit of a montage, and show what Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee will be doing for the next several weeks on Earth. She gets to visit family. She gets to hug all her 17 nieces and nephews and all of her siblings. She gets to have dim sum with her brother's new boyfriend, Chef. She gets to spend a lot of time with this holographic crew member of the USS Bovell. Not Bovell. The new Ross ship, the Sanabria, Gonzalez Sanabria, and the aquatic Selkie member of the crew, seeing where they currently live, seeing how their houses are built, how their living spaces are set up, getting just really in-depth, real-world knowledge. This was the best choice ever for her to come and do this in person, because doing it remotely would have been much more, not as in-depth. And so that's how she spends the next several weeks. And she will return to us through messages and information, sending us back information to add to the work track. With that, we will end this session of Clear Skies Perseverance. You all have probably already figured out, yes, we will be losing Jade for the rest of this show, but it is for a really lovely, amazing reason, because Jade has a wonderful new work opportunity, and we want her to go forth and pursue it and be happy. Jade, okay, I'm gonna cry. You are a gem. In 3 episodes, you have captured our hearts with Lieutenant Koi Chang Lee. Sorry. So you will be missed so much, but thank you for being here for the episodes you have been. I look forward to having you kind of pop up here and there in messages to the crew. You're just a gem, and I love working with you always, and I'm so glad that you have been here. So best wishes. Bon voyage. We love you.
Oh God, this is I hate and love you all the same way I feel about Tovaa. I'm so mad that I have to leave, but this was the best going away party ever. I've never had anything this amazing, and I'm so mad, but I'm happy, but I'm so mad. Ugh.
Yeah, we will have you back at a Streampunks table in the future.
You're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. We will have you back at the Streampunks table for sure. And yeah, we love you. We love you so much. And also, I wanted to shout out the Pillow Fort crew, because I know y'all are going to be working overtime for this. So thank you for all of your support in the chat. And all of you watching, thank you. Thank you, as always, to Mike Fatum. Thank you to Star Trek Online and Modifius. And we will be back next week with more of Clear Skies Perseverance. And until then, keep building, my friends. Don't know if we're...